Today we start the process of fixing the Overland Geo Tracker. In theory, tomorrow we're going to go pick up another Geo Tracker that has all the parts in here that I need, and we'll get this all fixed tomorrow and go camping and go to Overland Expo on Friday morning. That's ambitious, but hey, I did all that stuff that I need to do to take it down to Rubicon Trail and get it broken, so why not try again, do it and fix it. First thing we got to do today, before we even get that thing off the trailer, we've got to get that 99 that I took the motor out of the backyard, because that's where I want to put the Overland Tracker. And to do that, we'll use the winch off of the trash panda. Hopefully someone inside comes out and helps steer it. Got the trash panda backed up. Got that rig backed up. I just put that out on the Facebook to the Northwest Geo Tracker and Suzuki group. If somebody wants what's left there, they can have it for like 150 bucks. Otherwise, I'm just gonna call the scrap guy or put a couple motors that I have in it and take it to scrap myself. We'll see what I do. I don't know. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff I'm working on. So now that we got this far, we got this thing backed up, we got it all unstrapped. We need to jack this up, put the tire on here, because remember, well, I don't remember, you may not know. If you don't follow along on Instagram, you don't know. But this metal valve stem got crushed, and it cannot get to the actual valve stem in there to put air in this tire. If I was smart, I would have changed this before I drove home or trailered it home, because it probably wasn't good to have this weight pushing onto this tire on the trailer. So hopefully we didn't do any damage to it, and we'll get it all jacked up here and swap it out for that one. Then we'll push it off the trailer and get it into position. Take the rear tires off and look into just dropping that whole rear axle right out, because the rig I'm supposedly going to get tomorrow is an 89, so all that stuff should switch right in, because this is a 94. They're both early first generations, so it shouldn't be terrible. And if I can get the rear done, then I could drive this one. I could at least pull it up and turn it around and bring it in and do the front, or maybe I'll just do the fronts right here. I don't know, we'll see. Let's get this thing on jack stands and look into getting this axle out of here. Time to head in for the night. We'll get back at this tomorrow. Still not 100% sure if it's easier to replace the whole axle or just the shafts and the third member, because I have to take all this apart anyway in order to undo the stupid brake cable. There's no way to do it. You got to kind of push this thing in and slide it through in order to get the backing plate off. Wait a minute. If I pull this off, I should be able to just set the backing plate aside, huh? I don't know. Anyways, see if you guys can hear this. It's definitely broke in there. Parts car's here, because I went up and got it. Got up early this morning, drove up to Ashford, Washington, picked this thing up for like 600 bucks. It's an 89. So all the suspension stuff should be the same in regards to spline count, stuff like that. So it does run and drive. I drove it off the trailer. Has a huge leak at the O-ring. Interior is not in great shape, but not really what I'm concerned with. Has a puck lift on it, so I mean, there's value there. But anyways, I'm gonna pull that axle. I think after looking at it, I think it's going to be easier just to pull the whole axle and slide them back and forth rather than take the third member and the axle shafts and everything out. So, excuse me. That's my plan as of right now. Okay, we may go back to plan A of pulling the shafts and the third members. I can't get this thing undone. I've figured out what to do about the parking brake issue, but unfortunately these bolts here, or also these bolts up here, they don't come out. I don't know, it doesn't look like they're attached in any way, like welded or anything, but they don't spin. I hammered, I used the air tools, I'm not getting them out. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack this one up and take a look at the rear end of this one. It looks really rusty. So this may be even worse off to try to take apart. So maybe we'll end up doing the third members after all. Feels like I've wasted half my day going back and forth on take the whole axle out, just the shafts, whatever. I couldn't get the whole axles out, so I went back to just the shafts, pulled out the shaft on the passenger side of both rigs, and as you can see, the one that was inside the Overland rig is clearly broken. Also, all of these holes got wallowed out because there was nothing on this end, so as it drove, it would just keep going like this, you know, and that eventually wallowed these out, and so all of these were stripped out. So we'll put the good one, let's see, yeah, oh yeah, that's okay still. The good one is going to go back in over there, but I still got to take the third member out and check it, but I got to pop that axle out first. So we'll pull this axle shaft, then we'll do the third member, and then we'll come over here and do the same thing to this rig, and hopefully all those bolts on top of the third member there come out. So without tearing it apart and digging in there too much, just the obvious stuff. There's an axle shaft. That would be passenger axle. It also messed up all of this here. That's sharp. Oh, there's a piece right in there. Look, check that out. So, and then the driver's side, there's a big piece of axle. That's not coming out of there. So, but as I look at, there's a, I don't know if the pin got knocked out of there or what, but that's the piece from the locker. Oh yeah, look at that. That's not great. So, and then the ring gear actually doesn't look damaged, and the pinion, it looks like it might be a little scuffed up here on the top, but that's about it. So I think I might be able to save this. Obviously I got to get a new side gear here, so I'm gonna take this apart and see what it really looks like in there. So onto axle shafts. This was the driver side, broke off. This is the passenger side, broke off, and that's the good one out of the parts car. So I'm gonna take this thing apart a little bit and see how bad the damage is, and if it's something I can just put back together or not. Believe it or not, the ring and pinion survived. So did pretty much all these components. The only thing I'm concerned about that I know isn't right is this. This got wallowed out right there, but the axle doesn't actually contact that, so I think I'm going to go ahead and run that as is, and we'll see what happens. It's not the first time I risked it on something and it came back to bite me. So there's one piece of the axle, there's the other piece of the axle. I put these in off of that locker, and they didn't have holes in them for the pins. I'm going to go back and use the factory ones because they had pin holes in them, and it looked like, it seemed like these had started to cut back out. So I'm not going to use those. Those came with the locker. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to go back to using the factory ones. So we're going to clean all this stuff up. This one here got a little meshed, but as long as it threads just fine and can be locked in, it's going to be okay. So clean all this up. There's some of the bits and pieces right there, and put it back together. Quick word about me being willing to use the damaged parts back in the third member. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough. Sometimes people don't fully understand. I'm just some idiot with a GoPro who only found one Geo Tracker channel when he searched YouTube. Thus, I decided to start my own. Everything I do and all these videos that I shoot, they're more of a what you may encounter if you attempt it video as to a how-to video. So your results may vary. I have no experience in doing most of the stuff I do. Okay, gang, it's back on the rear. I haven't touched the front yet. I did about 8 hours today of wrestling around with that thing. Ended up 2 broken axles, but the ring and pinion were still good. So that's the parts out of the rear. I love how they're twisted. That's so cool. I mean, you know, now that it's whatever, it's still kind of cool. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm going to end the video here. Tomorrow I'm going to start on the front. I really thought I could do it all in one day. Guess not. So tomorrow we'll start the front. We'll crack it open, see what we need to do. That one, I'm pretty sure that ring and pinion gear is bad, but I thought that about the rear too, so we'll see what happens. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Put your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's over 100 Geo Tracker videos on this channel, as well as some X90 stuff, some Suzuki Sidekick stuff, and a little bit of Samurai stuff too. So thanks a lot for watching.